From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update. Your weekend weather update is made possible by Caltrans District 2.
Hey folks, hope you had a lovely day so far. It's been really nice out there. Not a lot of clouds filtering in. We're really pretty much completely dry for the next couple of days here. That's a sign of the times, right? No point in showing you the near-term futurecast because don't see any signs of life there. Now, as we head through Tuesday, Wednesday, we might start seeing signs of life, right? That's whenever the active pattern starts to kick in to drive just a little bit more here. You start to see signs of some shower activity through the midweek there. Wouldn't shock me if some of that instability even pops up a thunderstorm or two. But to be honest with you, I think as we head through Thursday, Friday, the bulk of the system comes through and just doesn't look that impressive, right? It's kind of been trending away from a more widespread precipitation system here, so I think we're actually talking a little bit lower chances, and I really don't see huge above average or below average chances. We should be right about where we are on average climatologically speaking as we wrap up April and head into May, so we're actually going to be relatively dry here as we approach the next 7 to 10 days. Here's why. Big picture kind of paints the picture nicely. Notice this cutoff low here to the south. It gets cut off and it just doesn't have the guts to sustain itself, so it kind of dies pretty quickly, right? It fades off to the south. We get this little bit of an impulse here, but this ridge of high pressure where my hand is really takes it over through the end of the week and into next weekend, and that's going to be coming in behind it, kicking it out of here, and we get more pretty decent and warm weather expected here in the big picture behind it. Here's your marine forecast before we talk about the big picture 7-day forecast. Notice those double-digit wave heights sticking around. Bit of a bigger swell here, especially about 20-30 nautical miles off the coast, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But I think, on average, 10-12 feet, maybe isolated spots 13 to 14. But along the coast, we're going to be there about 5 to 7 feet. So still a little rambunctious, that much is for sure, but I think over the next couple of days, it'll settle down just a little bit more. So that's definitely something worth keeping an eye on here for at least the next 24 to 36 hours or so. All right, so let's take a look at the 7-day, city by city, county by county, and microclimate by microclimate, because that really is kind of the best way to put it. That's what we're dealing with here. Across the area for our low temperatures, we're going to be talking 40s along the coast, upper 30s through Siskiyou County, out towards Modoc County, again, upper 30s, lower 40s, and out towards Lassen Volcanic State Park. Eastern mountains, out towards Susanville, mid to upper 30s, lower 40s, and of course through the valley, your winters as usual for the temperatures, mid to upper 50s is the story. Now over the next day or so, again, we'll be talking pretty consistent 80s across the area. In fact, some upper 80s are starting to flow into the forecast, slowly but surely. Like I was mentioning earlier, a little bit of instability is possible here as we head over the next day or two, especially over Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe. That's whenever that more unsettled pattern starts to creep in here. Notice those temperatures really dropping off as well towards the middle and end portions of the work week. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on there. Of course, as we head through tomorrow, temperatures in the upper 60s, lower 70s along the coast with some mid to upper 70s a little further inland there, or mid to upper 80s rather. So that really is kind of a sign of the times. The warmest day is probably going to be tomorrow. And then from there, it's a steady staircase climb down from the 70s to the 60s and maybe even to the 50s out here towards the end of the week, a little further inland here up the coast as well. Siskiyou County, very similar story. Happy Camp, you're winning there at 84 degrees here. Notice those 60s and 50s take it back over though Thursday and Friday, so these 70s are not to be taken for granted. That much is for sure. Modoc County, very similar story. Lower to mid 70s across the area, but again, there's that climb down from the 60s down to the 50s here through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Out towards the eastern mountains, we're going to call it upper 70s, lower 80s. Quincy, you're there at 82. You're the temperature winners out there through the eastern mountains of Plumas County. And then notice here, getting down through the 70s, down through the 60s, down through the 50s by Friday and into Saturday. But again, towards Saturday, Sunday, Monday of next week, I think we actually start to get more warm air filtering in. So that's definitely a long-term trend we'll want to keep a close eye on. Down through the valley, mid to upper 80s, like I was expecting here through the last couple of days, is the story. Some of us might get 88, 89, but I really don't think 90s are going to be the story here for today. I'm really not seeing huge indications that a lot of us would do that. Would it shock me if one or two of us tomorrow hit that? No, not necessarily, but I really don't think that's going to be the case. I think on average, 85 to 87 is going to be the story. Big time cool down through Tuesday, though, 76, down through the 70s and 60s there as Friday, and up from Lakehead down to Red Bluff. It's a very similar story, right? We're going to be in the 85 to 87 range, and then again through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and beyond, past the 70s, past the 60s, with mostly clear skies for tomorrow. Then it starts to get cooler, starts to get a little bit more unsettled, but a little less widespread. That precipitation is looking as of right now. Thanks for joining me this weekend. Of course, Mike will be with you all week to see how this forecast evolves, fresh from the NorCal Command Center, and I'll see you next weekend.